This is John T for the Boxing Voice, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined this evening by British and Commonwealth light welterweight champion Akeem Ennis Brown. How you doing, Akeem?
I'm all good, my man. How are you, brother? You right?
Yeah, I'm really good, thanks. So where you been today? You've been sparring down a matchroom, haven't you?
Yeah. Been up to Essex. Just did a full round, probably 6-hour trip, so 3 hours there, 3 hours back. Traffic weren't too bad today, so it was actually right. But went up to Essex, went to the matchroom gym, sparring with Martin J. Ward, helping him out with his I think he got world title final limited coming up, so helping him with that. He's helping with my title defense. So yeah, man, it's good little trip out there. Good little day out.
That must be. Is that the first time you've been down there?
Nah. I've been down hundreds of times. Like, you know what I mean? Been down and sparred with all the different type of guys. Anyone from lightweight or featherweight, super featherweight to welterweight, you know what I mean? Sparred with, you know what I mean? That's so all the boys down there we sparred with.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, look, first time we've had you on the show, so welcome. We're very privileged to have you on. Tell me about your last fight. It was in lockdown, obviously. You headlined, which was really good for you, and you won the British and the Commonwealth on the same night. That must have been some night for you.
Yeah, it was good, man. Regarding all the setbacks with the fight, so with the Philip Bowles, I'm fighting Philip Bowles, a Commonwealth champion, for the Commonwealth title, his Commonwealth title and the vacant British title. We've been a fight back in 2019, so the first time the fight got set, got made mandatory to fight him for 2019. I was trying to call this guy out for time to fight for a title. He did not want to fight me, and the board made it happen. We're gonna fight in November 2019. Then got to the weigh-in. We did the weigh-in, weighed in, everything was all set. The next day, the day of the fight, went for breakfast, went to the hotel watching the fight. Then we got people traveling up there. The fight, literally, you get a phone call off the promoter saying, yeah, the fight's off. Like, so that was just like a kick in the balls right there. You know what I mean? Like, like the fight's off, all that training camp, all that money wasted. So it was like, cool, you know, you roll with it. Then the new date got set. Was a bit better, because it was the next day it was going to be on Sky Sports. So originally the first fight was on his promoter's show with no TV, and then the rescheduling was going to be on Sky Sports, the Golden Contract tournament undercard of that. So I was thinking, yeah, you know what I mean? Everything happens for a reason. It was beautiful. Got all the way through Cam. It must have been the week of the fight. So we was driving up there now to the press conference. We driving from Glasgow up there. So that's like a 3-hour drive to London. Literally was 30 minutes away from London. Well, from where we were going to go, like 30 minutes away. Good spirits in the car, you know what I mean? Thinking, yeah. Next minute, get a phone call to promote fights off. I just thinking, I forget this, man. I'm done, forget this, you know? So obviously that time it was off due to COVID. The first time it was off due to Philip Bowles putting out, I don't even know why, something to do with a dodgy urine sample or something like that. I don't know, or blood and urine or something like that, I don't know. Medical reasons. And then the second time was due to the pandemic. So the pandemic just hit, you know what I mean? The pandemic just hit. So all sports were getting called off. So then finally my sport got affected. So I just thought, you know what? Forget, I don't know if I'm going to get the British title shot again. The way everybody was acting was like the world's going to be ended, the world's going to start spinning, the pandemic and take over, boxing's never coming back. So I kind of was a little bit depressed, thinking, you know what am I going to do? Like, boxing's my life. What do I do? Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So there was not much to do. So for that little couple of months, it was a bit weird. And then when we did get the call in that boxing will be coming back behind closed doors and that, like, gave me the spur to get back in. So it was a third training camp. And to be honest, this time was even hard because, like, you know, you got to motivate yourself here. Like, the second time was hard, but the third time was hard. Right? You got to find the motivation to do the same fight again, get the same opponent, and it's like it's just dragging on, you know. But I found the motivation because I think where the lockdown without boxing, the time it took me without boxing, it made me miss boxing. So I found that motivation, like, you know, I'm getting these titles, I'm not letting them go, I'm getting them this time. So finally, September 2020, the fight eventually happened. Got Philip Bowles in there. We had a good fight, and I beat him for the Commonwealth and British title. You know what I mean? So and now we move on, you know. Finally that saga is done. So I'm happy. Philip Bowles is a good fighter. He brought a lot more than I thought he was going to bring. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think it was going to be a walk in the park, because it's never a walk in the park for a British Commonwealth title fight. You know, people always step up. But I did feel that, yeah, you know, it'd be a lot easier. But then he was a lot more experienced, a lot more tricky, a lot more better than I suspected. So it was good. But I enjoyed that because that's what I want. I want them challenging fights. I want to test myself. I want to see different things, go against different styles, and, you know what I mean, conquer all these different styles. So yeah, I was happy to add Philip Bowles' name to my ever-growing resume, you know. So yeah.
Well put, and that brings me to the next point. You're now up to 14-0. You've got the one knockout, which I quite like, and I tell you why, because it's just giving you more experience. Sometimes I find people at your level who I've interviewed who are sort of like 12, 13, 14, getting British titles, and they're knocking everyone out in like 9, 10 rounds. And then sometimes when they step up, it's a bit different. So that brings me on to who your next opponent was meant to be, who I think still is. That was Sam Maxwell. He's 15-0, and he's not had a knockout either, but undefeated. And you were due to defend both belts against him a month or so back, and I think you had to pull out. Is that right?
Yeah. So the Sam Maxwell. So we move on from Philip Bowles to Sam Maxwell. So after winning the titles, it's a case of I sat there and I thought, you got that buzz. It's like, yeah, I'm the champ. What next? Like, you know what I mean? What next? Like, because this is the thing for me. It's like I sat there and I thought, what else? Who's the fighter? Like, literally after. This is the funny thing about it. Yeah, before winning the titles, I was the most avoided fighter in super lightweight division. I couldn't get no fights. I went a whole 18 months without getting a fight, you know what I mean, until the Philip Bowles fight happened. But then I was avoided for a year, not excluding the pandemic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you can see that, yeah.
You know what I mean? So then when I got the title, mate, the next day, I woke up, brother, I got all these people calling me out, like all through the week, I got different saying, I want to fight on the shot, on the shot, on the shot. So I was just there thinking, where was all you guys who had these titles? But when I was there, like, what are these fights, you know? But for me, it wasn't annoying feeling. I was happy feeling. It was like, yeah, fine, this is what I wanted. That's why I wanted the titles, is so I got the opportunities to be able to get more opportunities. So I looked and I sat and I thought, all right, cool. Let's look at all the people. What made most sense? And for me, it's a case of I see too many of these champions. They win the titles and they want to fight against or defend against pick an easy defense. You know, like pick easy defense. Try holding the titles for long. For me, that's not my style because I feel like I want to know when I got these titles, I'm the real champ. You know what I mean? I deserve to be the champ. So for me, I looked and I said, all right, what's the biggest name or the biggest fight I can have or defend against? And you know what I mean, and what's in my region right now, what's not too far ahead where I can't get like a Lewis Ritz or someone, but someone who's still around my,
definitely.
You know what I mean? So then I looked and obviously Sam Maxwell, he's there, been out to put his fight for a while. He's been out, so I said, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Sam Maxwell, like I think that would be a perfect defense to make a statement because every guy's saying, why are you fighting him? You could have easier fights. No, that's what I wanted because other people wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Other people wouldn't take a hard defense as the first defense. Other people would do it. Not only that, it's like this guy is not on my level. You know what I mean? I know I can beat this guy, like very, very convincingly. And if I know that, why not show it? People think I can't do it. I know I can do it. I love that. That's surprised me. Says, let's go do it. You know what I mean? So I want to fight him. So yeah, so I give Maxwell the fight. We offered the fight. We've meant a fight I think originally meant a set for March. And then leading up to the fight, the week of the fight, I ended up injuring myself. Injuring my back, and it was just annoying. It was a bit annoying, you know what I mean? Like it's a bit annoying, kind of like you're stuck, you can't move, can't train, you can't do nothing properly, and like I didn't know how much a back problem or even a little twinge in your back could cause so much, like means to be so important, like to everything, you know. So training, nothing went going right. So all 3 weeks, we were still trying to like, you know what I mean, sort out, you know what I mean? Because I still want to fight. I wanted this fight, you know what I mean? So I'm still trying to sort it out. It just weren't going. Seeing physios, it's not going. Like, there's not enough time for it to go, if that makes sense, in that week. And I was still up for it, you know what I mean? I'm saying, like, you know what, I don't care. I'm not missing the show. I'm not trying to back out. I had people pull out on me, so I'm not to pull out. Coach was like not having it. The team weren't having it. It's like, no, listen, you need to get that sorted. You can't even move properly. It's not right. Get it sorted, you know? So I was like, all right, cool. So I spoke to the team. It's like, we have to postpone the fight. Can't fight. And especially that it's not like Max was a journeyman or something. He's either challenging for a good fighter or wants his title. You know what I mean? So it's like you got to be, not say your best, but you have to be a good standard. You know. So I said, all right, cool. I listened to the team. Said, cool. For me, it was a bit disappointing because not only did I want the fight, but I felt a bit like what's the word? I don't know the word, but I felt a bit wrong doing to him what happened to me. If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, and I didn't really like. You know, I didn't really like that feeling because he's been through a camp. I know exactly how it feels. And everything. So it can't be helped, but it's just one of them things. So I just like, my apologies to him on that behalf. But at the same time, in regard to that, I could easily move on to the European, go fight for the European title right now. I could easily go international. I could easily say, forget this fight, you know what I mean, and move on. But I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I'm gonna stick to my word, stay loyal, give him a shot like I promised him, and then we move on, you know. So we're just waiting on the next date for that now. And yeah, he's still my opponent. He's still the guy gonna get it. And yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to fight him. I'm really excited for it.
Nice touch. And I think I'm with you, coach, by the way. When you get to the level you're at now, as you mentioned, Sam's not a journeyman. He'll come and want to win your titles. He's got a similar record to you. So I'm sure even if you win, which I'm sure you think you will, and I'm sure he'll think he win, you're going to have to be at your elite. So any slight damage or injury, they're probably right to pull you out. So silly question, because I know you've been sparring, as we've just mentioned, down the matchroom. You're 100% fit now and ready to go?
Ready to go, bro. I'm ready to go. Can't wait. I've been itching for this date. Like, we've been getting told this date going to be, we've gone from being May, June, July, you know what I mean? It keeps getting pushed back, you know what I mean? So I've been ready to go, you know what I mean? So just one of them things. But yeah,
any idea when that date might be?
July, I've been told. I've been told July, start of July. They're ready to go.
On a BT again. That was a headline in Frank Warren card, yeah?
Yeah. So it's going to be still on BT, Frank Warren. It's going to be July summer, the start of July. I'm guessing so spectators might even be allowed back by then, so it'll be a good thing. I don't know the card or the headline. Yeah, man, you should be there, man.
Well, I will be if they let us back. I've been sat at home watching it like the rest of the world, yeah. Not good.
But yeah, so not much change, yeah. So it's literally the same, everything mostly the same, and just different dates, same fight. Gonna be the same result. Really rival Akeem Ennis Brown. Still British Commonwealth champ.
I like it. I love the confidence. And look, to be honest, psychologically, you seem in a good place. You seem like you've handled the problems you had with the previous fight of Phil Bowers that didn't happen, then it did, and then you've had to go through lockdown, then this got cancelled. And I think like the rest of the world, we just want everything to go back to normal, not just in boxing, and like I said for myself, me being front row there is all I like, and I've been sat at home watching it with everyone else, and I'm like, I need to be there. So, well, we wish you luck on that one. Look, before I let you go, mate, I always like to talk about your fighters in the same weight division, and we've got a top fight coming, as you know. And I think is it next weekend? I think. But what are your thoughts on?
Is it this weekend or next weekend?
I think it's next weekend. You got Buatsi this weekend, so
this
I'm
weekend,
sure
yeah.
But Josh Taylor, he's obviously going to try and unify the division. What are your thoughts on that? Can he beat Ramirez and hold all them belts?
Yeah, I think so. I've sparred with Josh Taylor before.
I was just going to say,
Yeah. I sparred with him before. He was lucky enough, he let me come into camp and help him with one of his fights. I think it was his last fight before that even. So yeah, I came in and sparred with him. Great fighter, man. Learned a lot of him. I believe he has all the tools to beat Ramirez, unify the division, and then you know what I mean. Like I even think he has the tools to even go up to welterweight and hold that there. You know, like so it'd be interesting to see. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying he's the likes of beating Terence Crawford and stuff like that. I'm not saying that, but I definitely believe he can hold it with the likes of them. And if you can keep on improving and getting better and better and better, then why could he not beat the likes of Terence Crawford, you know? So, we haven't yet to see him at a level like a Terence Crawford yet, but he does look like he is keeping on improving and keep getting better and better. And yeah, man, you know, I'd be interested to see what he does next. But for me, I want him to win, beat Ramirez and vacate, let all them titles go, like vacate and move up. Like, just go away, Josh. Move on to the next way. And you go get these titles. That's it, man. That's it.
Well, that's surely, I was going to ask you, I mean, you won't look past Sam Maxwell and your team won't let you, I can see that. But should you come through that, you've already had a European title before, I think it was the IBF, was it? But a European title. You surely got to start looking at world level, because you'll have the British and Commonwealth and defended it. Is that something that you would go for after that fight?
Yeah, so for me, it was a case of like, I originally wanted to, because I did have the IBF European, Sam Maxwell got the WBO European, but for me, I count them as half of European titles. I count them half European titles. So for me, we all know the EBU, that's the proper thing. So the Sandor Martin, that Spanish fighter, he got it. So originally, I'd like to go for that. You know what I mean? That would have been my route. Like, you either got the international route or the European route. I'd have rather gone on the European route and kept it all traditional. So I would have had the English, the British to come up, and then the European, you know what I mean? And then move on to world. But then for me, would I do that now? I don't know, because it's a case of, I was watching that K Prosper when he went to fight for European in Spain.
K's a friend of the site as well. And
I like K, and K, you know what? That's the funny thing. K did good. He showed, I think he exposed that Sandor Martin. I don't personally think Sandor Martin's all that anyway. I think he's a good fighter, but I don't think he's, you know, you got good European level fighters and you got them great European level fighters. I think he's a good European level fighter. I think he is there one of them, but I don't think he's that great going on to world level type, you know what I mean? And I didn't see that before, but K Prosper even showed that even more when he went to fight him. And I feel like when I watched that fight and I just seen with the Dodge decision with like the referee was so involved. I've never seen referee like that in my life. I couldn't believe it. I just thought, what, like, I want to phone to my coach. We were talking, and they were like, we are not going to Spain. We're like, forget that. We're not going to Spain. So, for me, I feel like without the ref involved, I feel like K Prosper even did a better job against that Sandro Martin. You know what I mean? I still feel like Sandro would have beat him, but I feel like he would have probably exposed him a bit more, showed a bit more of him. You know what I mean? Showed that he's a bit normal, a bit more. But after watching that fight, yeah, for me it was like I think I would leave the European. The only way I'd fight for European now, go down the European route after this fight is if it came Bacon, or they could get the European champion into Britain. You know what I mean? If they can Britain and we can have a fair fight, whatever, then cool. I ain't going to Spain and I ain't going chasing that European title. So there's ever options, you know what I mean? There's international. And to be honest, you're right. It's like, from having all these bouts anyway, it's not like I need a European. I could go straight to world level now, you know what I mean? For me, it's just a case of, I'm not like these people that rush in a way of, even though I've done a lot of things quick, it's more like, I do things in stages, so I'm just trying to build my development. I'm not like Sam Maxwell or Josh Taylor's who had these big amateur careers, you know what I mean? So for me, I'm learning on the job, but I'm making sure I'm going to get all the experience that I can in the different stages. That's why I'm picking all these hard fights, but they're different, if you know, they're all different styles to get me all ready for world level. And then the next thing for me would have been is to go on to European level. And I felt like that would have been the ice in the cake, so I know I'm ready for world level. But to be honest, I'm sure without that, I'd rather go international route and probably get like a Mexican or something. You know what I mean? I see a lot of Mexicans causing upsets and stuff like that. So to get a fight against them, it's all about the challenge. You know what I mean? I like the challenge and I want the development. So once you know, if you could do that, you conquer European or the Mexican guys or that type of thing, then you know you're ready for world level. You know what I mean? There's no point. I'm never a fan of these people that rush. Pick up these little bouts, we'll give them a ranking. Well, don't deserve it. Pick up a bout off a ranking, we'll give you a ranking, fighting a journeyman. Get to world level, and then being for a shock and get smoked anyway, you know what I mean? And then it's game over. Like, I don't really want to be one of them fighters. So I want to know when I get to world level, I deserve to be there. I'm ready for that. And I'm prepared as I can be. So for me, after Maxwell, I just want to deal with Maxwell. I feel like this is a good development fight for me as well. Good fight. And I'll fight work on a showcase my skill all around Britain. But I feel like after Maxwell, I'm down for any fight what's going to make sense, financially beneficial for my career, and will give me the best development ready for me to move on to the next level. So yeah,
I think that's it as well for you. It's that if you come through this fight, you're headlining a BT card, a Frank Warren card, which is one of the best promoters in the world and the biggest platform. They start becoming life-changing, not just for the belts, but also for money, mate. And I know a lot of fighters don't talk about money on a camera, but that's your livelihood, you know, your family and that. So, well, look, we wish you well. We can't wait for the fight against Sam, and hopefully I'll be there, and we'll come and see you down the gym soon, all right?
Yeah, anytime, man. And as soon as the fight gets announced, we're going to have another catch-up anyway. So I'm going to get my guy Matt to give you a shout. I'm going to catch up again.
Hopefully I'll be there weekend fight. We'll get you the presser and the weigh-in and that. All right, mate.
My man. Nice to speak to you, my bro.
You too. Cheers, Akeem.
Enjoy the video. Feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, from title, betting shows. The list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.